Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, GamerK. Do I have to do this one? Do I really have to do this review? Fine, I'll do it. A couple of years ago, I purchased four digital versions of 4 of Nancy Drew games. Because during 2020, a YouTuber named Arglefump was doing a mega marathon of all the Nancy Drew games, and being bored during a lockdown, I decided to start watching them, and I've heard a good deal about Nancy Drew. One thing, Emma Roberts makes a killer version of her, and obviously the TV series that has absolutely nothing to do with what the games are about at all. So I decided to get 4 of them, and they're actually pretty good. Except for the one which among the 6 that I played, the 4 I've bought and 2 of them I've borrowed, all I can say is, yeah, this one's definitely the worst. It being the Dog Days of Summer, yeah, I know that's only a saying and stuff. I don't know why. But I do intend to be playful with my theming of videos per week or month. So my own idiocy has given me the choice of doing this review for this time. It is the 7th game of the Nancy Drew series, Nancy Drew Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. Now, I'm not going to lie, the cover art is beautiful. And the reason I don't have the game with me right now is because, again, digital copy, so no case. All I can say is that this might be the most insufferable Nancy Drew game I've actually had to play. And it's not because I suck at the game or because the puzzles are too difficult. It's because the game is a flat-out lie, and it definitely is the worst collection of puzzles, and I don't know what it's called. Chores? I don't know. But it's got some of the worst in the bunch of any game I've played. So out of the 6, this is number 6 of the ones I played because it is awful. So to start off, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake came out in 2002. And it is like I said, the 7th game in the series. Now, I'm not going to blame... Okay, you know what? I am going to blame the people who made this game because they didn't have to make some of this stuff. They didn't have to put some of the stuff in this game. Before they had... Okay, to be honest, let's be honest. The first good number of them aren't really the best ones, considering the puzzles are so tedious, and this is no exception. So, the main story of this is in Pennsylvania. Wait, is it in Pennsylvania? It is in Pennsylvania. Is it? Yes, I understand. I'm reading my own notes. Shut it. Yeah, Pennsylvania, where on a beautifully old rundown house, kind of like a country house, kind of, someone Nancy knows is starting to renovate the place because she just moved in and she's a nature explorer or a photographer or something like that. She's not even in the game, apparently. And right as she moves in, she starts hearing haunting howls throughout the night, and then sees the ghost dogs of Malone, who was a turn-of-the-century gangster whose legend says that on the night of his arrest, his loyal 4 hounds ran into the woods on the property and were never seen again. And now they are seen at night as ghostly phantoms that haunt any who disturb their master's rest. And even the mystery gang would say that this is bogus. So anyway, Nancy is called to investigate and also to help renovate the house, which does nothing more than gaining planks of wood, during the first bit of the game to cover up a hole so you do not fall to your death. Yeah, oddly enough, the Nancy Drew games surprisingly have some of the most bizarre death causes that even Until Dawn and the new game, The Quarry, would laugh at. I don't get it. From exploding the motor of your boat to being burned to death later on after being knocked unconscious. And yeah, that's another thing. A lot of Nancy Drew games, Nancy somehow gets knocked unconscious. Like, no offense, Nancy, but you have become a damsel in distress in your own game. Princess Peach is laughing at you right now. And I don't care if you're a redhead. There's no excuse for being stupid. Not that I'm saying redheads are stupid. I'm just saying usually it's the blondes who are depicted as the stupid ones and not the redheads. And, okay, this joke has gone on too long enough. So, we have been asked to investigate, and for some reason or another, the woman who bought the place and started got out of town or left and is at a hotel, or I don't even know where she is. We call her with the phone, and all I'm going to say is, what a lame excuse to not have a fourth character in this game. Yeah, I will admit, though, the Nancy Drew games somehow conspicuously have this constant need to have a lot of phone-related conversations instead of actually talking to people. So, like I said, even the Mystery Incorporated could figure this out. So someone is at an old gangster's house, and suddenly a bunch of ghost dogs are starting to make her leave. Yeah. Oh, also, if you are interested in Argofum's videos, he does a really good playthrough of all the games. And hopefully when the next one comes out, probably in the next century or so, he'll be reviewing it. So, go give him a like. Go subscribe to his channel. It's really fun to watch. Okay, so once again, the game is the classic point-and-click adventure where it's a first-person mode. So again, surprisingly, we never really see Nancy in any games. I'm really starting to hate that. Even in the game where she was literally in jail for that first half, we never get to see what she looks like, which is starting to kind of tick me off. Anyway, a majority of the game is us doing basic and annoying chores. Like fixing the well, again, putting planks of wood onto the floor. What else? Reorganizing information for a park ranger. And for some reason, we're on this amazing lake. We get to travel to a convenience store, the woods next to that property, and the ranger station. That's it. And we get there with the boat. And it is one of those really annoying ones when having to backtrack a lot towards the three suspects in the game. We have the park ranger, the owner of the convenience store, and this bird watcher who really gets on my nerves very fast. So, I know what you're probably thinking. With a name like Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, surely there's going to be parts in the game where you have to be careful when you're out. Before I get to this section, I'm just going to say, during this game, because only one guy can only be talked with at night, you can change from morning to night. So you would think because of the ghost dogs patrolling the forest and all the land where the house is, you'd think you'd have to be careful and not get caught, like you almost kind of had to do in Warnings at Waverly Academy. Nope. Ghost dogs appear once on your first night. You only see a cutscene of them howling. through the peephole, you see the dogs. One kind of does a jump scare at the peephole and barks, and they're glowing green and all that. And they only appear once. Yeah. So basically, that's a good strike against this game, because ghost dogs of Moon Lake appear once at the beginning and never again until you solve the mystery. So up front, that name is a lie. So what else could suck in this game where dogs are the main focus? Somewhat. Oh, and another boring puzzle we have to do in order to get batteries for our lamp, or our flashlight, because because this is the day before mobile phones, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, imagine that. We have to fix a display at the convenience store. And again, to quote Arglefump,
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliche.
I'm really hoping he's yeah. Luckily, I'm inputting where I'm taking these clips from, so no, I'm not plagiarizing anything. I'm just using them as a good joke. But again, I know I haven't talked a lot about the gameplay or the other puzzles in this game, because there's not. This surprisingly has some of the least amount of puzzles I've played in a Nancy Drew game, and that is frustrating enough. And it's not just frustrating, it's almost insufferable, because there's in the forest next to the house, we have to do a maze. Yeah, a really annoying maze that gets really old real fast. And if you thought the maze section of the Hinterlands from Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge was fucking awful, this one is worse. Because we actually have to traverse this thing numerous times for one stupid requirement. Oh, and suddenly, as I know I should have said this in the beginning, once we get to the house, a tree falls down and blocks our car from getting anywhere. And surprisingly, it takes until the end of the game for it to get resolved. I swear to God, there should be a drinking game for Nancy Drew games. Actually, I'm surprised there isn't one already. Anyway, after diving a little bit into the legend of Malone, yeah, you can all guess what it is. They're a gangster. All these puzzles. Yeah, it's a hidden treasure. You all knew it. And what kind of gangster would it be if he didn't have an illegal speakeasy somewhere? Good Lord, is it annoying. However, one thing I did enjoy was the fact that, yeah, his dogs aren't seen a lot, but the dogs of Malone were his most trustful hounds, and he even has picked small statues of them in his house for a little quick puzzle at the cemetery. But after you get through the forest, you will find the dogs' headstones, and I really love that Malone cared a lot about his dogs. That the entirety of the puzzles that you need in order to find the treasure are all dedicated to his dogs, and I really love that. Like in the speakeasy, there are 4 pictures of the dogs, and you'll also have a map of the house and the surrounding area of the lake and the front yard of the house. And each dog is in a special location. And then as you go through one of the hidden walls, you will find a map, and you'll have to press the 4 locations where the dogs were. Where one liked to play in the water, where one liked to sleep, where one liked to go after the birds, one would go after do this. It's the fact that they put so much care and the emphasis of how much he loves his dogs. You can just tell, not just by people saying how much he loved the dog, but just by the puzzles themselves. And all honesty, it's one of the cooler things in the game. And the way to unlock the treasure, once again, are the Roman numerals of his dogs. And again, that's a puzzle I love. Again, everything that is related to locating his lost treasure is all dedicated to his dogs. The dogs will lead the way. Their birthdays, I think, or something about them with Roman numerals will unlock the safe code. I love that. It's something that actually makes it feel really connected as part of the whole theme. Again, I said majority. Again, the puzzles that relate to Malone's treasure are the ones I really love. Everything else in the game can literally go jump off of a cliff. And sadly, all of these puzzles are only achievable once you complete the boring crap. It's like it's 20% of the dog puzzles and 80% of the mind-numbingly dull, boring shit that we have to do. For example, and I need to read my list because there is a lot of crap you got to go through in this game before you can get to the good stuff. For example, like I said, the maze, which factors into 2 missions. One of them with the woman at the convenience store. You will have to go into the woods and find her bugs for bait, and you will be having to look all over the woods under rocks during the day and at night. I don't understand why her interactive thought looking for bugs was, in order to get what you need, was fun for kids. I mean, I'm pretty sure it took me like a good couple hours at most to go to I'm losing my words here, to retrace my steps of places I've been to. And normally with games like that where I have to retrace steps, I'm fairly good at that. Unfortunately, I actually had to watch I had to actually look up the information to locate where I missed the bugs. And it was so annoying. And then there's the bird watcher dude, where in order to get something that he has, sandpaper, in order to sand one of the statues in the house, in order to rotate it, we need to take a picture of every bird that we can. Which again is really annoying. Except for the last one where it's a hawk or something and it's landed right on top of a speaker system that's right on top of the house that no one freaking noticed. Although I will admit, it does kind of blend into the color of the roof of the house, so I'll give them that. But the minute we find that, we get knocked out, tied up into the shed, and it's on fire. Yeah, like I said, Nancy does tend to get knocked out unconscious a lot during this game. And her home series, nonetheless. Out of curiosity, considering that a majority of the times when Nancy gets knocked out, the culprit then tries to kill her by proxy. So, aside from all the illegal shit they do in order to obtain whatever treasure they're looking for or whatever, don't you think attempted murder should be implicated on one of those? Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, that the legal system in Nancy Drew really takes a back seat when it's the treasure, that the disturbing the peace that they've done. I swear to God, a junior in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney could prosecute these idiots and get a win. So yeah, the bug finding, the bird watching, the maze. Yeah. But again, like all Nancy Drew games, there is a little thing that you need to do in order to capture the culprit, because once you're in the safe and everything, The culprit reveals themselves, and you have to go into the safe, into the vault, go underneath the hole that's there, go backwards. The culprit will be inside the vault. Shut the door on them, turn around, and they will in turn go the same way you went, go up the ladder, and the game ends with you shutting the vault door on them so they're locked there in order to find gold. Yeah, it was all for gold. Okay, you know what? I've already done a bunch of Argo Foam jokes, so why not do a Disney joke for this? Yeah, that's basically what the villain was doing while they were locked inside of the vault. I always, for these games, I never want to reveal the culprit or anything, which I think is fair, because if anyone actually wants to play these games and enjoy it, the mystery, I'm not going to ruin it for them. Okay, okay, so basically that's all the basis of the games. Now, I do enjoy it. The reasoning for why a majority of things happen is straight up BS half the time. But I mean it's an adventure game, so I can't fault them for what they were trying to do with this game. I mean, again, like I said before, the title is a flat out lie because the dogs come out once. So, yeah, and also, once we find the culprit's lair, because, of course, the culprit has a lair. I swear to God, Dr. Evil doesn't have this many secret lairs. Yeah. We find the 4 ghost dog puppies, and they were trained to start howling with a sonic sound, obviously. And the glowing was glow-in-the-dark toothpaste to make their jowls look haunted. I will admit, that was actually a cool reasoning for why the dogs look that way. And just by reading the culprit's book, the hell with it. The culprit's book kind of dictates what was going on as they were watching the woman who bought the house, and then Nancy Drew came, and they were saying that we were getting too close to finding the treasure. Yeah. Okay, so majorly, how long is this game? 4 hours? No. 4 hours. You know what? I'm doing a lot of jokes this video, so might as well do one more. 4 hours? That has got to be a new record. It's insanity. And it's even worse because of the bird watching and the worm finding, it felt like it was longer. I mean, yeah, during these games, I take breaks after a number of days. So, but I have definitely spent over 4 hours on this game. It's one of those things where all the stuff in it makes it longer than it's supposed to. And that's one of the worst parts of this game. The fact that only two different objectives take so long and it's so difficult to do, it feels like it's gone on for hours and hours and hours. And the fact that again, all the dog puzzles are great. The characters in the game are shit. Considering you only get to talk to 3 and not that much. There's not that much interrogating going on. I prefer a Nancy Drew game where I can talk more and be around the suspects more. So it's more like they're going behind our backs and we gotta watch out for everyone. Because that all three of the suspects are spread out through the game, you can never really see that they belong in the same area together. Like, everyone from the game, Warnings of Waverly Academy, it's a school. So you can tell that certain people like each other, certain people hate each other. Some people have that commingling effect, and to see how everyone's different. I get. This, it's like you're going to three different places, and it doesn't feel like they belong in the same area. But again, the dog puzzles is what gives this game a bit of a notch up. But everything else brings it way down. So, because of how exceptionally idiotic half the plot is sometimes, and how BS the majority of it is, the fact that the interrogating the suspects and looking for clues just doesn't go anywhere half the time, and even the woman who bought the place, when we talk to her, doesn't exactly feel like anything's added. I mean, you could have just removed her from the game entirely without talking to her, and honestly, nothing would change, except, someone would have to leave Nancy a list of chores to do around the house. I mean, it could have been completely removed, and when the main thing that brings Nancy here could be easily removed, it's something I gotta notch a couple points off of as well, because that's the reason we're investigating. It's not like Criminal Case where we stumble upon a murder during this season. Although that kind of happened a lot. We just stumbled upon some murders, but that is very situational. This, again, is situational, but it needs to happen in order for us to investigate. Otherwise, it's just someone having bad luck. So, GamerK's final verdict for Nancy Drew, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, is, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to go with my surprise shock. It's a 4 out of 10, and it deserves every aspect of it. If you want to play the game, I'm not going to stop you. This is all my opinion, and other people have other opinions about the game. This is just my opinion on this game that, out of all the 6 I've played, this is literally one that is basically a doggone tragedy. And that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you enjoyed the review. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next week where I get to talk about something I really love in another Top 13, where we get to jack in to some of my favorite boss fights. This is GamerK, logging out.